threats. What does the Bible say about nuclear weapons in the tribulation? And is this, again, helping us understand the Bible is about to be fulfilled with some of these prophecies because these nations have to have these weapons? Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I mean, there's some prophecies in the Bible that are sort of hard to understand without nuclear weapons. And before I say anything about it, I just want to be clear that God, when he brings judgment, doesn't have to use nuclear weapons. He did a pretty good job on Sodom and Gomorrah, without any nukes. But he can use nuclear weapons in the sense that he's letting man in his depravity do what he wants to do. So you have prophecies like in Revelation 9 and Revelation 6. You put those two chapters together and you'll see that half of the world's population is eliminated. You go over to Matthew 24, verses 21 and 22, where Jesus says if those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. And you ask yourself, how could the human race get to that level of mass extinction and elimination? How have most of the wars in human history been fought with bows and arrows, cannons and cannonballs? Sometimes you think of the rifles and things like that, or guns going back to colonial times. I mean, lethal weapons to be sure, but not capable of wiping out half or almost all of the world's population. So that's what makes our era different. I mean, we're sitting on top of weapons that are capable of eradicating the Earth's population several times over. Chemical weapons, atomic weapons, nuclear weapons. And so suddenly these prophecies about half or most of the world's population being wiped out, suddenly those start to make sense in light of the technology that we have. And so that's where I would see nuclear weapons fitting into the end time program.
What about Israel burning the weapons of their enemies for all these years after the Gog-Magog invasion?
Yeah, I've talked to military people about that. That's in Ezekiel 39. It talks about how they're going to find bodies and put a marker on the body. You mentioned the burning of weapons for 7 years, the burying of the dead for 7 months. I've talked to military people, and they say that's just basic protocol today in the military. That's exactly what you do in that kind of scenario. So I believe that we're living in a time period where the prophecies of Ezekiel have caught up to things happening in our world in that respect.
So do you believe that could give indications that during the Gog-Magog scenario, there is a nuclear strike on Israel?
I say could. In fact, it's probable. I don't think it has to happen that way for reasons I said earlier, but I guess I would put it this way. If it doesn't happen that way, I would be sort of surprised.